Hello. Uh, this is John, and that was my sweet honey, Jude. And we are doing the 1 Year Bible Reflections. Uh, Today is day 9. Today I was looking at it and realizing I didn't really have a clear personal application, except that I know that to engage in action always is a little bit harder than to just think about things. And I think we have a current culture that likes to imagine that if we've thought about it and thought about it really well and have come to the conclusion, this is good and true and right, that we think that we've gone far enough. And yet, biblical truth and biblical wisdom requires the bedrock of action. In verse 24 of Matthew 7:15 through 29, Jesus says, "Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise and is like a person who builds his house on solid rock." You know, who we listen to affects us also as well. There's a lot of voices out there saying, do this, do that. You go here or listen to this. You know, be my fan. I mean, there's all sorts of things going on. And in the end, the thing that, if we want to evaluate the reality of something, we have to evaluate it on the basis of what is the fruit or end result. I think even in terms of the whole hip-hop scene, someone like Jaw1 asks the question, how will the fruit of those who've been listening to hip-hop in a certain style, how will it bear in the light of history? How will they judge our poetry 10 years, 20 years from now? Deeper than that, I think that fruit has to do with the content and quality of people's lives. And so, what is really feeding your soul so that you grow in terms of content and quality of life? And are you digging into the bedrock of the kind of reality that is rooted in revelation? You see, not everybody who says, hey, I'm down with God and God's down with me, actually has that connection. And the fundamental foundation of the word obedience in Scripture, in the New Testament, has this root word akuo, which means to hear. And so it's really impossible from a New Testament perspective to separate the idea of obeying God from the idea of hearing Him. If you want to see someone who went through a transformational process so that he had a place where he passionately believed about God, But he moved from that place of believing just about him to actually hearing God. I'd really encourage you to look at the life of somebody like Frank Laubach. There's a lot of people that are worthwhile looking at in history, and their fruit is obvious. You can look at the life of St. Francis of Assisi. You can look at the life of a humble man like Brother Lawrence, who wrote, who his words and conversations are captured in a little book called The Practice of the Presence of God. I really want to encourage you to think about what does substance look like? What does substance look like in culture? You know, when you think of the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, self-control, what does that look like? And who's really living into that? And learn from the people who deliver not just in words, but in action. Love you all. Blessings. Guess that's my reflections for the day.